Hi guys, and a welcome from me on today's video of Championship Manager 0102. So a lot of people ask about how easy is it to play a network game. The simple answer is it's quite straightforward. It probably sounds a little bit more complex than what it really is. There's a few bits and pieces you need, but what you've got to remember is you only need them once, and once you're set up, you're ready to go. Because in my opinion, playing network Championship Manager 0102 is the next level to the playing a solo game. We've all played solo games and we've all cracked it. We've all woken from the conference to the Champions League final and so on and so on. So the first thing you need is a tunneling program, and the most common one that is used is Log Me In Hamachi that you can see right there in my top right hand corner. There are alternatives out there. Radmin is an alternative, and I'm saying Radmin because I have Radmin as a backup just in case there's any issues with Hamachi. But Hamachi is the most common one. Hamachi is completely free to download, and it's free to use as well. You can pay for enhancements on it if you wish. More about that in a moment. So you need Hamachi, and you need to have it installed and have that set up. Now when you first load up Hamachi, you need to make sure you verify your email and you do the old bullshit caption crap. You know, how many traffic lights can you see, how many bicycles, blah blah blah. It literally takes 2 or 3 minutes. Once you've got Hamachi, you've got your tunneling program set up. Now you can see I've got Hamachi loaded at present, and you can see it gives you an IP number. Now don't get confused with IP numbers here, because every person's computer that's online has an IP number, and the majority of them, I think all of them, will start with 192.168. Blah blah blah. Those numbers might be familiar with you with the olden days of internet play before Hamachi was about, or before broadband was about. But as you can see, my Hamachi name is Mikey, also known as Offside Trap from the forums, and my IP number for the benefit of Hamachi is 25.65.79.138. Don't worry about these other numbers there. And I've got several networks within Hamachi. Now don't get confused between when I say network as in network game or networks within Hamachi. I've got several networks within Hamachi, and you can see this first one, these are case sensitive, I should point out. So the top one I've got there is called 3-man record breaking network game. Myself, Ian and Pep, my nephew, are in that. We've got an ongoing 100 season plus game there. I have a 4-man game with Matt Vince, Andy Vince and Gary Hanks. I have a 5-man game with Morton, Asa, Pep and Andrew Vince again. And then I have my heads up game with Pep, which I call Family 2021. Now I've left that lit, and there's a reason I've left that lit, because if you right click it, and I can show you, if you right click you can go offline, and this is quite a common error from a lot of people, is they say that the game won't start. Chances are it's because of this Hamachi thing. One of them, you can double click on it or right click, whichever, but you must have an active Hamachi group, network shall I say. So you can see at the moment I've got a Hamachi group, it's live on Family 2021. If I was to, if Morton was to come online, I would be able to see that, unless of course he was invisible, because at the moment I'm invisible to these guys. They don't know I'm online. So I can't join anybody's game unless I see them online properly. You'll know if you're online because the person's name will be green, but you'll know if they're online. But let me start that again. If Morton was online, I would know about it because his name would be in grey, but I know he's not online at all. Now if Morton is invisible, he'll see my name's gone in grey because I've just gone online with it, if that makes sense. Okay, any questions, just jot the question in a box down at the bottom there. But what I do suggest, let's hypothetically say I want to have a game with Pep, right? Pep's going to come online. I've texted Pep or spoke to him on Facebook. Pep, ready when you are. I will close all my other networks, because for argument's sake, I can be playing with Pep, and Ian, if he sees I'm online, he could come and join the game and potentially sabotage it, hypothetically. Same with any of these guys. So that's why I have a separate one just for me and Pep. And then when I've got my 5-man game going, I close my Pep one down and I load that up, or I leave it active, shall I say. You can only have 4 people in any one Hamachi group, hence why I've got more than one group. You can see on this group here, I've got Pep in multiple groups, but you can see I've got Pep, Asa, Morton and myself. Now, if you want to have more than 5 people, you can pay for it. You can have a capacity of over 200. Personally, don't see the point, because if you're playing a game with 4 people from one Hamachi group, then what's to stop somebody else, sabotaging it. Does that make sense? So, and if you want to play a game, let's hypothetically say I want to play with everybody on all my groups, Pep, Azza, Morton, Andy, Gary, Matt, Ian, I'll just highlight them all. I'll highlight them all. And then I'll say, guys, game's up. Now, on these, you can right-click that person's name and have individual chat if you wish. Alternatively, you can right-click the name of the group where you go to on and offline and open chat window. That would be a generic chat. Okay. Now, I know that the likes of Andy, I think his ID name on Hamachi is Cope, I think it is. And I think Gary's is 8-Ball, but I rename them so I remember who they all are. You can rename them just looking in settings up here. You can also name your own name or change your own name right here if you wish. I do, so people know who I am. Like when I talk to people off the website, they know, oh, it's Offside Trap, because that's what my name is over there, but it might be from Facebook, and my name's Michael. So that's Hamachi. Now, I can't stress enough how important Hamachi is. Without Hamachi, you ain't going nowhere. Okay? So, you've got your Hamachi. Now, install your CM. Just install your CM as per normal. And it's really, really important. There's going to be other things that I might hit on, but I'll save them more in depth for another video later on. But we'll keep this just purely about network play. Now, I should specify that this is predominantly for Windows 10 only. I will give you a quick brief on Windows 7 and so on. So, let's pretend I've installed CM. You can see I've got multiple versions there. The very first thing you must have, right, on your exe, your X, right-click it, click Properties, and ensure, very simple thing here that most people know, make sure you are running as admin, and make sure you are running the program in compatibility mode Windows 95. 95 is an absolute must on Windows 8, Vista and Windows 10. Windows 7, you can get away with it for using compatibility NT 4.0, but that being said, 95 should work on that as well. But Windows 95, now I should point something out, that if you're using a Nix patcher, you must apply a MISC patch which says fixed network game. The reason I'm saying that is because when you install CM, it always says make sure you've got your compatibility at XP Service Pack 3. A network game will not work using XP Service Pack 3. So if you're using Nix patcher, then you must make sure you fix network play, okay? And make sure you're 95 and you're on the list. That's really, really important. Now then, in every CM folder that appears, it appears something similar to what you see right here. You will get this icon here, IP. And IP, this is what's important. The IP and that net there, you can see. IP, you right click and run as admin. Now what will happen when you run as admin, one of these will appear, a net file, unless your net file's already there. But if you haven't got one, right click your IP and then your net file will appear. If I just open NetFile, when you first open your NetFile, open it with WordPad. Really, really important. Open it with WordPad. So, if I bring you down now then to the default gateway, didn't mean the default gateway whatsoever, I meant the IPv4 address. You see right there? You see that number, 25 it matches that of my Hamachi. And that's what's important here. That must the IPv4 address. This page here of the notepad may differ on different windows, but you're looking for the IPv4 address to match that of your Hamachi. Very, very important. Now, if it don't match for whatever reason, because it may say up here 192, you see how mine down there under wireless LAN it says 192.168. It might say that on your IPv4. If it does, what you need to do is you need to edit it, but you cannot edit it here. It will not let you edit it whilst you're in the CM folder. So all you do is if I just show you, you can copy your net file or cut it, put it onto your desktop. I say desktop because I think the desktop is the most is the most common area for quickness, and you can edit it here. Edit it here. Make sure it all matches that of your Hamachi. Save it, and after it's done, move it back into your CM folder so it will match, and you'll see it matches. Of course it matches because it was already matching. Very, very important. Now the next thing, very, very important. there's a file I'm looking for. Now I've got oh, there it is. Right. When you first install CM at your data file folder, whichever CM you've installed, whether it's the ODB or an update, you'll see this file here, CPUINF32. Now, when I first started learning about network play, I was always advised, delete this file. So I always delete it without fail. I think it prevents various crashes of the latter stages of a network game, so do get rid of that file. Very important. Okay, so at this point I'm ready to play CM. You'll notice I've not got CM on my desktop, and the reason being is because I've got multiple versions. Again, that's something for another video later on. So let's hypothetically say I'm going to play the very latest update with the latest patch from Nick, and I'm going to play with Pep. So I'm going to fire up my CM. Now, when you're starting your network game, when you click network, you know, do you remember the old DOS screen, the black DOS screen that you used to get on like Windows 95? When I press network, if the black DOS screen flashes up, right, it means that you're on the wrong compatibility. Remember what we said about the compatibility? It must be Windows 95. And you'll see it didn't there. Okay. Now at this stage, we are ready to either start a network game, join a network game, or restore a network game. Totally scrap the quick start network start game. Totally ignore that. Okay. So before I go any further, because I'm going to do a demonstration here, I'm just going to put this on minimum database to make it a little bit quicker. Before you start your network game, make sure you are active on one of the groups. If you're not active on any of your groups, it will say can't be started, can't be created. Okay, so network play, start a network game, give it any name you want. To be honest, I just do that. So we'll call it MBB. Okay, and now at this stage, you all know where you're at this point. You pick your team, you pick your selected leagues. Oops, let's just mount that. Okay, you pick your selected leagues and your game loads up. Now at this point, the chances are whoever you're playing with, you'll probably communicate with them through probably Facebook or whatever. I will right click and I'll say to Pep, game up. And basically, I won't do that until the game is ready. And I'll show you what happens when the game is ready. Okay, but you need to communicate. Now, me and a couple of guys, we tend to, like the 5-man and the 4-man, we tend to communicate on Facebook. For the simple reason, there is a chat facility on CM, and I'll show you that, but I don't advise it. I really don't advise it at all. So, you can see that the game's all but ready. Create a shortlist, which is virtually gone. And at this stage, you all know where you're going to get to, where it's going to ask you to pick your name in. So, when it gets his arse in gear, right, so let's okay, so yeah, we'll just pick, for argument's sake, Arsenal, take control. Now at this stage only, I now communicate with the people I'm playing with who must be online. If they're not online, they ain't getting through. So Pep will pop up. I'll say Pep game. Normally Pep's already online, and I'll message him here, and I'll say Pep game up. Now at this point, Pep will go to join network game. I'll go to that afterwards. He'll go to join network game instead of start new network, and he'll write in my IP number, which will appear adjacent to my name if he hasn't edited the name, and it's 25.65.79.138. You can see right in front. You can see all these other numbers. This actually only applies on Nick's patches. I don't know why they're there, but I don't need to know them. That 255. It makes a difference. Pep will get through to my game just by putting that number in, 25.65.79.138, and he will press next, and he will get straight to picking his team. Sometimes, and I do stress sometimes, you don't even need to put that number in. The name of the game that I gave it was NBB will pop up, and you can get to it that way. But sometimes, not all the time. Okay, and then as soon as he's there, Pep will join me, and Bob's your uncle. We are ready to play. If I just show you chat, that's a chat facility I was talking to you about. That is available for you all to talk simultaneously. I wouldn't advise it. It slows the game, lags the game a little bit. So if you have got some people in one Hamachi group and some other people in another Hamachi group, obviously you can't chat in one big hole. So I would advise a Facebook conversation personally. So that is that. So at this point now then, at this moment now, if anyone joins into my networks and I'm online, they can join my game, but they can't. The only person that could possibly join this network game is Pep if he came online right now. Okay, so let's go back to the main menu, and as I said, network play. Click on join network game. At this point, I would write in someone's number. The points are very, very important. And as soon as I press next, it will bring, providing that person is online. If that person is online and they're in my group, we're both on a line. It's like a tunnel. We will connect. We will play. I should point out, so like for example, my name would be Mike. It would have come through as Mikey, aka Offside Trap, with my IP number at the end. People will see that unless they specifically renamed me. I've renamed everybody so I know who they are. So let's take Matt Vince for example, just very, very quickly. Let's go to default. There you go. So you see Matt Vince. I thought it was Gary, but it was Matt. So Matt is actually 8-ball. If Matt came online now, it would come up in green with his IP number adjacent to it. So if he was hosting a game and he says, Mike, the game's up, I think, right, that's it. I might not even need the IP number, in all fairness. I may not even need it, but that's that, right, okay. So I just prefer to have their proper names, okay? In fact, thinking about it, see, actually, it tells me when I go to individual chat with Matt Vince, it has 8-ball up there. So it may even have his IP number up there if I needed it. But okay. So if I show you, if you're trying to get through to someone's game, if it hasn't connected immediately, it ain't going through. Okay, it says in the bottom there, join network game. If it ain't connected immediately, it's not going to get through for one reason or another. And it's going to say in a minute, because it's trying to get, I've put in a random bloody number there. It's not going to get through unless I hack into NASA or something like that, which would be pretty decent. There you go, so I can't be joined, I don't give a shit. Okay, so when you first installed CM and you first did your match it and you've made sure that net file's correct, when you first click on network play, the very first time, it should come up, if you've got this, Windows Defender. It wants to allow CM to go through, like an exceptional firewall. Naturally, you click allow, and that's that. Okay, and then what I will show you very quickly, and I'll show you it, can't show you it on this version because I haven't got it, but if I show you very quickly, let me just go to a different version I've got. I'm going to show you how to restore a network game. Now let's pretend I'm saying to Pep, Pep, we'll play our game in a bit. Network, restore. The name can be a different name, whatever you want. And it's now going to restore mine and Pep's network game. And when it restores, it's going to bring me to that status screen. You know, like when you've just picked your team, where we left off. It's going to take a bit longer to load because the game is several seasons in. And at this point now, I will say game up. So I'll say Pep, game up, and he'll join. Okay. And as you can see, now I can't actually go anywhere without Pep joining the game. If you are playing network games, what you can do, depending on your trust, you can always password your login details. I don't think I've ever used password in my life, but then if you're playing a solo game, you wouldn't, would you? Of course you wouldn't, but you may want to, you know, initially. Entirely up to you. So that's that. Okay, so that is the short and long of network play. What I must do, and I must do this very, very quickly before I forget. On that new update, I must change my database back to maximum because that'll be costly on a new game. What you can do, actually, there is every chance of a crash on this, I should point out, is you can restore a standard solo game as a network game if you wish. I don't know how stable this is. I've had a couple of successes doing it where I wanted to show Pep my solo game and I showed him it through network, and there you see this is my solo game on the new update, but I think it is prone to crash, so I wouldn't get too carried away with it. I'd use it purely just to show someone your game if you wish. Now if I show you this quickly, let's pretend I've got all my networks closed, okay? All my networks are closed, so I've got no active Hamachi network. And this, I'll put this back to minimum, but this is what will happen if you try and start a game with no Hamachi networks. You won't know about it until the game is ready, at which point, if you've selected a few leagues, it's going to clearly take a little bit longer, particularly on a maximum database. It's going to come up at the end, game could not be created. Now at this point, a lot of people say, game can't be created, why is that? And there's normally a real simple solution. And it'll be because no Hamachi groups. I mean, you may as well have your Hamachi turned off, you might as well exit it. You may have noticed I don't have histories loaded up. I have them disabled just to make the loading of the game just a little bit more quicker, because the histories of players don't interest me from the past. It's just purely about the future that matters to me personally. If I want to know the history of a player, I can just go on Wikipedia. And at this stage here, as you can see, the last part of creating shortlists, it's going to say, oh, hang on, put your name in, pick a team. Oh, it's going to prove me wrong now. Prove me wrong. I don't understand. Actually, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't. That's made me look a liar. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to say Nick sorted that out. But either way, no one can get to your game. Oh, that should have said can't be created. But if someone's trying to join your game, but are not connected, they will not join your game. So that's made me look a real fucking liar there. And I'm not starting this video again. So that is that. So like I said, Hamachi is the main program. Like I say, there is an alternative Radmin. I have used Radmin before. I think it's a similar sort of thing, 5 capacity, that sort of stuff. The very first time I joined Hamachi was when Network Play started to just kick off. And what you've got to remember is this game is 20 years old, so the network facility was available 20 years ago, back in the day of dial-up. And there was a Hamachi group, and it was 256 people. But you can only have 16 people in any one network game, so it's probably pointless. It's just totally pointless unless you want to use it from a social media perspective. Don't quote me on this next bit, but you may be able to use Hamachi for other connections, tunneling connections and programs. And that's it. So hopefully you've enjoyed the video and it has helped. If it hasn't, then oh well, tough shit. But if you have got any questions, do pop the question down in the box at the bottom there, and I will hope to answer anyone and any queries that you may have. And I'm hoping I haven't missed anything, to be honest with you. If you've got any requests of what you'd like videos done with regards to Championship Manager 0102, do give me a shout and I'll do my best to do that as well. Whether it be the tactical side of things, whether it be multiple installations, applying patches, etc, etc. But just a quick hit on this so you can see I've got 8 versions up there. And the only reason I've got so many is because technically 3 of these are obsolete. This is the most updated one. I've got that one, SV9, is because I've got a game ongoing that I started with a couple of the guys 2 years ago. I've got a game with these guys that because you can't move save games. If I put a new update of CM on, you can't move to save game over. It doesn't work like that. I've got that game with Pep and so on and so on and so on. So, okay guys, till next time, take it easy.